Hello everyone, I'm host Jack, aka wildwest16, and here is a very exciting Pokemon challenge with one of the most underappreciated Pokemon lines. I know that most of you may have forgotten about this Pokemon, but it's actually one of my favorites. It's ELGYEM. ELGYEM is a pure Psychic type Pokemon introduced in Pokemon Black and White, which happens to be one of my favorites as well. He has a base stat total of 335 with a base 55 in HP, attack, defense, and special defense, base 30 speed, and whopping base 85 special attack. You can see why this Pokemon is so underrated. In his Gen 5 learn set though, he only learns normal and Psychic type moves. However, his TM pool is way more versatile as he can learn Shadow Ball, Thunderbolt, and even Rock type moves like Rock Slide and Rock Tomb. But with that being said, let's get into the rules. I can only use ELGYEM in battle. I will catch a HM martyr for out of battle moves, and I turn full HM compatibility on. No items in battle, but I can also use held items. And lastly, no glitches or manipulations. I can only replace a starter with ELGYEM. With that being said, let's just slap right into it. I start by naming myself Wes and replacing Oshawott with ELGYEM. I did that figuring I would be fighting Snivy only, but I forgot about having two rivals, so Bianca battles will be easier because she will have a fighting type Imbor. I named my ELGYEM Nevada, not only because it's a beautiful name, but it's also the location of Area 51. Nevada has a timid nature, which kinda sucks because it's a plus speed nature, but minus attack won't really do anything, because I will be using mostly special moves. He also has the ability Synchronize, which means if I get a status element, I will pass it to the opponent. Lastly, he starts with the moves Growl and Confusion, which means early game dark types like In's Purrloin will be impossible unless I grind. I get to the Walk Town, turn up the music, and take a tour around the Pokemon Center. I listen to Getz's blabble about killing all Pokemon or something like that, and I battle Clerk N. And just like that, I just can't hit the Purrloin, so I need to grind. By the way, Nevada does not learn any normal type moves until Headbutt at level 18, so this will be a pretty long grind, but let's get right into it. And that's what would happen if Nevada did not learn Miracle Eye at level 11. Let's go beat N. I listen to Getz's blabble again and it's N time. I go for Miracle Eye right away and I hit the Confusion. He lives in red health, but next turn I knock him out. First obstacle finish and I can now hit early game dark types. First rival battle against Bianca, or you could say Marshall. I one-shot her Lillipup and then I crit her Tepig for a one-shot. Monkey! I got this Monkey as my HM martyr. He's my favorite out of all the monkeys and I love him very dearly. Gym time, but first, training school time, not Pog. Time to battle Charon. He leads with Snivy, which I Confusion down to low HP, but he uses the Oranberry, then I knock Snivy out. Up next is the Purrloin, which I Miracle Eye, and next turn I knock it out with the Confusion. After the battle I get some Oranberries, which I will give to Nevada. There, now it's gym time. Since I technically chose Oshawott, I'll have to battle Silent, the Pokemon connoisseur, and his grass type Monkey. Let's get it. First attempt he goes for Bite, I Confusion and he bites again, and then he flinches me. And then he finishes Nevada off with one last bite. Tough luck, but let's try again. Next attempt we do the same thing, he bites, I Confusion, he bites again, but this time he gets a high roll and I do not flinch. I finish the Lillipup and I'm up to level 14. Up next is Monkey! Also level 14. He works up and I Confusion, and it does a lot less than I expected it to. He Mind Whips me and I'm left on 1 HP. He potions after I Confusion him, and next turn I Confusion again. But I do not get a crit or Confusion. He knocks me out with a Vine Whip. You know what I forgot to do? Put an Oranberry on Nevada. On my 4th attempt, he leads with Work Up instead of Bite, and I Confusion. Next turn he bites and I'm barely in Oranberry range, so I heal up to 32 HP and then knock him out. Out next is Monkey. After a long fight of Vine Whips, Confusions, and potions used by Silent, I defeat him and earn my first gym badge. That was a little more difficult than I expected, but it's okay, let's move on. I forgot to heal after the gym, so I almost lose to the grunts while saving a mana in the Dream Yard. I defeat a random Patrat in the wild and grow to level 15, where I replace Heal Block with Psybeam. I defeat some preschoolers whose trainer class is Champion and they have monkeys! And later on the route I encountered Charon again. He leads with the Snivy just like last time. He starts with Gross and I Psybeam him to under half, which triggers his Oranberry. He Vine Whips and I knock him out with Psybeam. Out next is his Purrloin. He goes to Fairy Swipes, which actually does a lot, and then I Miracle Eye. He assists, which turns into Wrap. He could have been way worse, and then I one-shot him with Psybeam. Bianca and the little girl run up after some grunts walk by, and apparently a Pokemon was stolen, so Charon and I go to the cave to save the day. We go through a couple easy battles and return the Pokemon to the little girl. I make it through the bottom part of Route 3 easily, and make it to Nakreen City, home of the second gym. But once I try to go into the gym, N finds me again and he wants to battle. I one-shot his Pidove, avoid his Supersonic from Temple, knock that out, and then I knock out his Timber. Easy battle. Now you may think that it's a good idea to battle Lenora right now. However, I disagree. Her first Pokemon is a level 18 Herdier with Bite, and it's way more powerful than Silent's Lillipup. Plus she has a powerful level 20 Watchog. So you know what time it is? It's grind time. Let's go! Now that I am up to level 22, I feel confident enough to take on the gym. I battled all the trainers in the gym, and during that, I grew to level 23, which is pretty pog. Now it's time for Lenora. First, she sends out that Herdier and surprisingly starts with Takedown. It does little less than half and I Psybeam down for about 3/4 damage. She potions to full health and I Psybeam again. Next turn, she takes me down to 13 health and I finish Herdier. Outlast is Watchog, but first turn she just crunches and knocks me out. On to attempt 2. She starts by leering me and I Psybeam. She takes down and I finish with Psybeam. Then comes out the Watchpog. I hope I'm powerful enough to live a crunch in one shot, but sadly I don't live. I'm going to give this until about 10 attempts and then I'm going to train up more. On my 6th attempt I avoid a takedown from Herdier and I knock it out at full HP. Outlast is Watchog. She leers to start. I Psybeam her to under half and I need to live this crunch from full HP in order to win. I amazingly live on 3 HP and my Aura Barrier brings me back up to 13 and I finish the battle, get my second gym badge by hitting a Psybeam. Let's go! I was really expecting to have to train more. After the gym, the skull from the museum gets stolen and I get asked to bring it back from the Pinwheel Forest. So guess what? Pinwheel Forest montage. I got the skull back, thankfully, and now I'm on one of my favorite locations, Sky Arrow Bridge. To tell you guys to like the video, subscribe to the wildwest16 channel, and leave a comment letting me know what your favorite Gen 5 Pokemon is. Also, I recommend watching my Pokemon Fire Red with only a Tauros and Pokemon Sapphire with only an Aeron. Those are my first 2 challenges and you can tell how far I've come since then. Also check out my Pokemon Sapphire Westlock series that just finished up if you want to see like a solo Pokemon Nuzlocke. Now back to the scheduled showing. I try to enter the gym, but Charon comes out and brags to me about his gym badge. What a brat. But then Burr comes up to say that Plasma came again, and they are on a dock. Let's go figure out what all the ruckus is. Apparently a Plasma stole Bianca's mana, and we have to get it back. I beat a grunt near the gym, and they go inside. We get a spiel by Getsus, and get the mana back, and we're cleared to battle Berg now. After beating a couple clowns and pressing a few buttons, I make it to Berg, and I'm not too confident about this because of the bug typing. However, I think I can run these swolls with Psybeam. First attempt, he leads with Whirlipede, a poison bug type which I just Psybeam for the one shot. Next up is Dwebble, which I had a problem with during the clown battles. He starts with Sand Attack, which is pretty annoying, and I almost one-shot him with Psybeam. He heals up and I hit Psybeam for the exact same thing. He potions again, and this time I get a high roll on the Psybeam and knock out the Dwebble. And last out is his ace Leavanny. He goes for a Razor Leaf surprisingly, and my Psybeam does a little under half. He gets a crit with Razor Leaf the next turn to knock me out. So much for a one-try Wandy. On the 6th attempt I get Sand Attacked by the Dwebble 5 times, but when the Leavanny comes out he misses a Razor Leaf and I end up hitting 2 Psybeams. It all comes down to this last turn. If he misses or does not get a crit, I have to hit, but instead he just uses a Hyper Potion, and against all odds I hit a -5 Psybeam and also get a crit. The same scenario is here again. He potions again and I miss. I do not think this is possible, but I will keep trying. He hits a Razor Leaf and I Psybeam to get him above half. I only have 1 Psybeam left though. He hits a Razor Leaf and I live on 4 HP, but I miss Psybeam. In real life, I actually yelled out no after that, and now I'm out of Psybeams and he just finished me off with Razor Leaf. I was actually very angry after that one. Let's keep grinding out attempts though. Attempt 11, I one-shot the Whirlipede and I one-shot the Dwebble after getting Sand Attacked once, and out is Leavanny. I get hit by Razor Leaf and I hit a Psybeam to confuse him. Next turn he hits himself in confusion and I just need to hit this, but of course I miss. He hits himself again and I hit the final Psybeam to finally get my 3rd gym badge. That battle was pretty infuriating, but I'm so glad that it's over. On to the desert. But first, Bianca asks for a battle at the gate before Route 4, and I cannot refuse to battle her. She leads with the Herdier and I Psybeam it down to red HP, and then I confuse it. It then hits itself in confusion and Herdier is down. Out comes Pignite. Easy one-shot with Psybeam. And out comes Monkey! The Monkey licks the alien, and the alien retaliates by Psybeaming it to death. And last out is a previously stolen mana. First turn we exchange Psybeams where mine does over half and hers does literally nothing. The next turn I just knock her out. Easy clap. Now it's dessert time. And of course, Charon's there waiting for a battle. Whack. He sends out a pit up where I just simply one-shot with Psybeam. Out next is Monkey! The Monkey bites me, I flinch, and it bites again, and I finished off with Psybeam. Out next is Leopard. He just one-shots me with Pursuit. Dang. I was just very unprepared for the battle. I didn't realize how hard this battle was going to be. I'm on my 11th attempt right now, and I finally defeated the Leopard. Now I have to battle the Servine with 12 HP. If I do not get hit this attempt, I'm literally going to grind up. But of course, he just goes for the Leaf Tornado to defeat me. So now it's grinding time, and I don't know what level I'm going to end up going to, but I'll level up. I grind up and try again at level 31. My hopes is to outspeed the Monkey. I outspeed him this time and I go into the Leopard, taking some Sandstorm damage. The Leopard outspeeds and I get hit with 2 pursuits before going after the Servine. He goes for Growth for some reason, and Psybeam does not knock him out. I need him to throw again to win, but he just goes for the Tornado again. End of attempt 12. I don't really want to write a script for this part, so just watch attempt 18 where I finally beat Charon, and I hate his Leopard so much. Let's brighten the mood with some Limbasa City music though. During this playdate with N, let me talk to you. Yo, I would really appreciate it if you guys subbed. I have so much content ideas that I plan on doing this summer. Let me know what types of challenges y'all want me to do and I will try my best. If y'all sub and turn the post notifications on, you'll get to see them all right away. Please sub, I'm trying to hit 100 by summer. Is that too much to ask? Anyway, back to the story. N wants to battle. He leads with a Sandile. He gives me an Embargo, which is a throw move, and I headbutt him. Then he tells me that Nevada loves me, and then he assures that. I knock him out. Next up is his Scraggy. He shows me his swagger after I Miracle Eye and I break through and knock him out with Psybeam. Next is a Daramaka. I break through again, knock out damage, and outlast is a Sigilif. I hit myself and he whirlwinds me out into Monkey! I stay in and leer, but I just get outsped and Monkey's dead. No! I bring Nevada back out. I get air cuttered and headbutt, but I get knocked out with a crit. We're now on the 3rd attempt and I get through the Sandile, Scraggy, and Darmok without taking any damage at all, and I'm in war with the Sigilif. This turn decides the battle here. I live an air cutter on 7 HP and knock it out, winning the battle. Finally. Now it's gym time, and I'm sure I'll have to grind, but I just want to see what happens. Now after the gym trainers, I'm actually kind of confident that I can win this. So let's take a try at Elisa. She leads with an Emolga, which immediately volt switches into another Emolga, and I knock it down to low yellow health. She hyper potions, I Psybeam, and then she volt switches into another Emolga, which I Psybeam down to red. She potions again and I get a crit, knocking out the first Emolga. She sends a female back out again. She then volt switches into her Ace Zepstrika and the Psybeam knocks it down to under half. It then sparks me and knocks me out. A little disappointing, but it's not concerning at all. On the 4th attempt I make it back to the Zep again, who sparks me, but I survive on 1 HP. I Psybeam it down to under half again, and next turn she finishes me off with a quick attack. I'm going to need to grind up a little bit, probably level 36 or 37 to guarantee a one shot on the Emolgas. I'm now level 37 and ready for my 5th total attempt. For her first Emolga, she starts by using Pursuit. I Psybeam her down to literally 1 HP and she potions up. Luckily though, I get a crit on the second Psybeam. Next up is the second Emolga. She volt switches for decent damage and I get the Zepstrika to below half. The Zepstrika then volt switches me, and the Emolga literally lives on 1 HP again. She potions, 1 HP again. She then aerial aces me down to 23 HP and I knock out the Emolga. It's now down to whether I live this next move or not. I end up not living the spark though. Bro, come on. However, watch this next attempt. I literally crit the Zepstrika and now have to face the Emolga at 22 HP. Again, I need to live whatever move she's going for. I literally lived the Volt Switch at 3 HP and knock out the final Emolga. That was so high for me. Best feeling in the world right there. Charon time. He leads off with the Leopard this time and he starts by faking me out. Next turn he pursuits while I Miracle Eye. Then he pursuits again and I knock him out with Psybeam. Up next is Monkey. I outspeed and one-shot with Psybeam, onto a Servine. He leads with a Leaf Tornado that does the elusive number 16 HP to me, and I Psybeam him down for under half. He Leaf Tornadoes again and I live on 8 HP, and I knock out the Servine. I level up to level 38 and now comes his last Pokemon, Tranquil. I'm somehow faster than a bird and knock him out with a Psybeam. It's the first time in a while where I've won an important battle on the first try. I cross the Driftveil Bridge into Driftveil City where I find a very angry Clay. Apparently when I crossed, we let Team Plasma in. He says we cannot challenge the gym until we defeat Plasma, so it's off to the cold storage. I then try to head west before I'm stopped by Bianca. Of course she wants to battle now. She leads with Herdier, which I proceed to one-shot with Psychic, and now comes Monkey! I one-shot Monkey and also her Pignite that follows. Outlast is a really bulky Mushana. I get 2 Psychics off, putting her at around 1/3 health before she puts me to sleep. I wake up after 2 turns and stupidly Psybeam her to 1 HP. She potions up, but all I need to do is stay alive and hit a few Psychics. I Psychic, she raises defense. I Psychic, she raises defense. And then she potions again. I Psychic and get my first special defense drop ever since I got the move. I Psychic, leave her on red, she misses Hypnosis, and with my last Psychic I finally knock her out. Hello N, let's battle. This Bolor and I are in a stat raising battle, by the way. I use Calm Mind 3 times and he uses Iron Defense 3 times, and I finally Psybeam to leave him at 1 HP because it's sturdy. And I confuse him. He ends up hitting himself and knocking himself out. Now for Joltik. I end up one-shotting him, the following Ferris Seed, and also the final Clink to beat N pretty easily. After N scolds Professor Juniper, I make it out to Mistralton City where the 6th gym is located. At level 46 I wanted to learn Recover and I got rid of Psybeam for it. Alright, Skyla time, fools! She leads with the Swoobat and she starts with Acrobatics as I Calm Mind. She Amnesias, I Calm Mind, she Amnesias, and I Psychic for less than half as she goes for Assurance and I Psychic again. She Hyper Potions and then I Recover. She Acrobatics and I go for Calm Mind, then she assures she won't use Amnesia and I Psychic for half. She assures me again and I go for another Calm Mind. She then assures me for a 3rd time in a row and I knock her out. What sucks though is I'm at 23 HP and I don't know if I'm fast enough to get a Recover off. However, her Tranquil goes for Quick Attack and I live on 4, barely living to get the recovery off. She gets a lucky crit leaving me at 25 HP and then I knock her out. I probably should have recovered though. How does her Ace Swanna? She gets her Aqua Ring when she could have easily knocked me out and I get the recover off. She then Aerial Aces and I hit the Psychic to finish off the 6th gym. What a roller coaster battle. I walk out the gym and oh, what's this? N? He tells me some nonsense about how Nevada loves me and goofy stuff like that. But my mind is focused on getting through Twist Mountain and getting to Icarus City. But first, Charon stops me again and he leads with Unfezit. He detects and I predict him by Calm Minding. He then goes for the double detect and I Calm Mind again. Now I can attack. He taunts me while I knock him out with Psychic, and up next is Liepard. Because of the taunt, I cannot use Miracle Eye for a couple turns. During the 2 turns he fakes me out and Hone Claws. He Hone Claws again as I go for Miracle Eye, and then he throws. He Hone Claws one last time being greedy and I Psychic him to knock out the Liepard. Next is Servine. He goes for Leech Seed as I knock him out with a Psychic. Lastly out is Monkey. He scalds and I knock him out with Psychic. Finally an easy Charon battle. Man, I am so lucky that it's winter in my game. Let's go, Bryson. He leads with a Vanillish and my strategy is to Calm Mind 3 times before I attack. He hits a Mirror Shot after the first one, an Acid Armor after the second one, and an Acid Armor after the last one. Now I can go full on attack. I proceed to one-shot the Vanillish, then one-shot the bulky Beartic, and then the Cryogonal comes out. He Aurora Beams me and I one-shot him as well. Just like that I have my 7th badge and it's the easiest one to obtain so far. I guess you could say that Bryson was right. After I talk to N and get out of the tower, Alder comes to us to say that Plasma is over causing a ruckus at the Desert Resort, which also happens to be where the TM for Shadow Ball is. Let's go! Now for another montage of the Desert Resort. It's dessert time! But first, I take the cover fossil because I'm scared and need cover, and because I'm quirky like that. After a very lengthy conversation with Alder and Guesses, Juniper calls me and says that there's been a big problem at the Nacrene City gym. I guess I have to go check that out. I get there and I find the Junipers, Alder, and Bianca all at the museum. Lenore then comes out and gives me a light ball, or light orb, or light stone, or whatever it is, that contains Reshiram. They then tell me to go to Opelousas Dream City to talk to the gym leader. Off to Opelousas Dream City. I make it through the route in between Tube Line Bridge and Icarus City where I find Bianca winning the battle again. So I say, let's go! She leads with Stoutland. She crunches and then I hit a Psychic for a crit. I do not know if it mattered, but I am blessed. And you are too. Out next is Imbor, my brother's favorite Pokemon. I one-shot her with Psychic and level up in the process. Out next is Monkey! It goes for C-Bomb, I Calm Mind, and it repeats itself. And then I recover after living on 15 HP. It C-Bombs again and knock it out with Psychic. Outlast is Musharna. I recover and she raises her defense for some reason. I Calm Mind and she makes sure I don't get a crit. I Psychic for over half, she Psybeams, and then I knock her down next turn. Easy dubs, boys. Let's go, Drayden. He leads with a Fracture and I start with the Calm Mind. He hits a nice D-Dance. He then goes for the same move again, because he's faster, but I knock him out with a Psychic. Up next is his Dredagon. I go for the Psychic to knock him out, and Up Blast is a powerful Haxorus. He slashes for a decent amount, but then I Psychic. He lives on 1 HP, come on man! Then he Hyper Potions, and I click Psychic, getting a critical hit knocking him out. The crit probably didn't matter because I could have gotten a high roll, but it's worth it. 8th badge down. Now we only have a little more left. Route 10 time, one of my favorite tunes, and oh yeah, by the way, I'm going to make a huge announcement at the end of this video, so watch till the end. Of course I have to battle Charon here. He leads with Unfezit, he detects, and since I'm low on health and I wasn't prepared, I recover. He starts a Razor Wind, I Calm Mind and he hits the Razor Wind for a crit. And I Calm Mind again. He goes for a taunt and then I knock him out. Out comes Liepard. Since I'm taunted, I can't use Miracle Eye, so I have to Psychic for 2 turns. But he just ends up knocking me out with Night Slash. What a bum. I hate Dark types this run. I think it's time to get Shadow Ball. I replace Recover with it. It sucks that I can't heal anymore, but I'm fine with it. For the Temptin, and I end up getting 4 Calm Minds going into the Liepard. He taunts me, that means nothing as I'm already at +4. I one-shot with Shadow Ball, and out next is Superior. He goes for a Coil, which raises attack, defense, and accuracy, a really overpowered move. But I one-shot with Psychic. Outlast is Monkey! He goes for Scald, and I just one-shot with Psychic. Bada boom. We talk on the bridge for a little longer, but they finally leave us alone. And now I make it through the bridge gates, and I'm on my way to Victory Road. One last epic montage, hopefully. Looking at the Elite Four, Chantal looks pretty easy, if I can Calm Mind and Shadow Ball. Grimsley looks impossible at this level. Caitlyn looks pretty easy as long as I outspeed, and Marshall looks pretty easy. But the Sluck might be pretty hard with Surdy and Retaliate. And also looking at the final 2 battles against In and Getsus, In is a pretty high level, and the only concern points are with Zoroark and Zekrom. And Getsus looks extremely hard, especially leading with Cofagrigus. That Hydreigon will be super difficult, and I don't think I have enough defense for Getsus' team. So with all that being said, I'm at level 64 right now and I'm not confident at all. So now it's time for another grinding montage, but this time it'll be a little bit longer. I'm trying to get to level 75 and see what happens. This is going to be a really long grinding montage, so I'm going to be playing one of my favorite Pokemon theme songs of all time while I grind.
Journey begins. Hard to find your way, hard to make amends, but there's nothing you can't do, 'cause you've got the power inside of you. It's never easy to make a choice, to keep things inside or raise your voice. For everyone there comes a time when the light inside begins to shine. Not always right or wrong, as long as your spirit's strong. It's not always win or lose, it's the road you choose. The answer's within. places. How do we know?
So many places. Where do we go?
What should I say?
What should I do?
Still we're together, me and you.
It's not always right or wrong, as long as your spirit's strong. It's not always win or lose, it's the road you choose. The answer's within. It's not always black and white, but your heart always knows what's right. Let the journey begin. Pokemon.
There's nothing you can't do, 'cause you got the power inside of you.
It's not always right or wrong, as long as your spirit's strong. It's not always win or lose, it's the road you choose. The answer's within. It's not always black and white, but your heart always knows what's right. Let the journey begin. Pokemon.
I'm now at level 75 and ready to take on the Pokemon League. First up is a ghost type trainer, Chantal. She leads with a Coffagrigus. I start out by Calm Minding and she hits a Will-O-Wisp, burning me, but my Synchronize burns her back. Next turn, I get her with a Shadow Ball and I knock her out. Up next is Jellicent. I proceed to Shadow Ball, knocking her out, and the burn is starting to get me pretty low on health. She then sends out her Ace Chandelure. She's faster than me and she Shadow Balls me down to the 20s, but then I knock her out with Shadow Ball. The burn takes me down to 5 HP though, and Outlast is a Golur. I need to outspeed to knock it out. I outspeed, and the Shadow Ball knocks her out. What a crazy battle, I barely squeaked out that one. On to easily the hardest one, Grimsley. He leads with Scrafty and I Miracle Eye and he hits a Sand Attack. I'm at -1. I then Psychic him next turn, knocking him out. Out next is Crocodile. He foul plays, I Miracle Eye, and next turn he foul plays again, leaving me at 21 HP. I then knock him out with a critical Psychic. Now out is his Ace Bisharp. There's literally no chance as I try and Miracle Eye, but he just aerial aces me to finish me off. This is giving me some Phoebe vibes from Aeron Run. After 10 attempts, I give up and go defeat Chantal again, and go against the others. I'll save Grimsley for last. So next up is Marshall, the fighting type trainer, and he leads with Throw. I decide to go with Calm Mind for protection, and he misses a Stone Edge that would have done a lot. I knock him out with Psychic the next turn. Out next is his Ace Mean Shao. He U-turns for under half damage and goes into Sock, who lives a Psychic on 1 HP because of his Sturdy. He uses the full restore and I Psychic him down to 1 HP again. He uses another full restore and I Shadow Ball to save power points, but he lives on 1 again. He goes for Stone Edge to leave me at 72 and I knock him out. Then the Mean Shao comes back out. He goes for Jump Kick, which surprisingly did a lot of damage, and then I one-shot with Psychic. Last out is his Conk, which I outspeed and one-shot with Psychic. 2 down, 2 to go. Next is Caitlyn, and she leads with Reuniclus. I decide to lead with a Calm Mind and she hits pretty rude. I proceed to use Shadow Ball and knock her out. Next is Musharna. I go for another Shadow Ball and knock her out with a crit, which probably didn't matter. Next is Sigilif. She outspeeds me and uses Shadow Ball, leaving me at about half health, and also lowering my special defense. But I just knock her out with a Shadow Ball of my own. Outlast is a Gothitelle I need to outspeed. I outspeed and one-shot her with a Shadow Ball. 3 down, 1 to go. We meet again, Grimsley. I hit him with Miracle Eye, and he surprisingly does not go for Sand Attack. I knock him out with Psychic and he sends out the Krook. He then proceeds to crit a foul play and knock me out. Well, let's grind against the others, gotta put my lucky egg on. I'm now level 84 and I have to come up with a new strat. I'm going to get Thunderbolt and replace Shadow Ball with it. I also grabbed the Magnet to boost it. Let's see what happens. Yeah, you saw what happened, but it was a good attempt. I feel like I need to get to a high enough level where 1, I outspeed the Crocodile, and 2, one-shot the Scrafty with Thunderbolt. But if I can one-shot the Scrafty, I can probably one-shot the Bisharp and Liepard. I'll give it a few more attempts though. On my 4th attempt, after getting Thunderbolt, I make it past the Crocodile. I one-shot the Bisharp like I said, but once I get to the Krat, he outspeeds and knocks me out. Really tough. After about 10 more attempts with the Thunderbolt, keep in mind I'm at about 21 total attempts, I decide to grind up getting rare candies up to level 96. If I can't beat Grimsley then I'll get up to level 100. And if that doesn't work either, I'll just go back and evolve Nevada and deem this challenge impossible. It's now time for my 22nd total attempt and my first one back. I start out by using Thunderbolt and he still doesn't get one shot. He uses Hand Attack and I'm already frustrated. That must have been a low roll though, because after he full restores I one shot with Thunderbolt. It just sucks because I'm -1 because of a low roll. Out next is the Crew. I finally outspeed him and use Miracle Eye, which he foul plays, and on the next turn I'm knocking him out with Psychic. Time for Bisharp. I proceed to one-shot with Thunderbolt, and now up is a stupid cat. I know if I outspeed I win, but she goes for Fake Out. Next turn I outspeed, Thunderbolt, and finally knock her out. Now I just have to beat the rest of the Elite Four again and get to the climax of the story. I take a platform down, I walk up a bunch of stairs to get to the Champions Room. I go there just to see that Alder was defeated. By N. Now a pretty crazy cutscene happens where a castle rises and N tells me to catch my side, how about that? So I go in to search for him. Well, time to catch a useless Pokemon. Man, I hate how they force you to catch Reshiram. Since this is only a Nevada run, I make it fair to let him knock out Reshiram without me dealing any damage. Now it's time for a real battle. He starts out by fusion bolting for about a quarter damage and then I call mine. A light screen that was set up during the Reshiram knockout fades too. Next turn he sets up another light screen and a psychic for about 3/4 health. Next turn he unfortunately crits me with fusion bolt, but then I knock him out. Out comes a Caracosta. I Thunderbolt and he has Sturdy. I dodge a Stone Edge though, which is pretty hype. Next turn he heals and I Thunderbolt him down to 1 HP again. Next turn I knock him out. Out next is Archeops. He's faster than me and knocks him out with the Acrobatics. Darn. On my 6th attempt I get past the Zekrom after calm mining a few times and using Psychic while getting fusion bolted. Now we're back to the Caracosta. I Thunderbolt to Sturdy again and then he crunches. He heals, I Thunderbolt, and I Thunderbolt again to knock him out. The light screen finally wears after what feels like 10 turns though. Next is Archeops. He crunches me down to 20 HP and I knock him out with Thunderbolt. Next is a Klinkling. Easy one-shot with Thunderbolt. Now it's his Zoroark, which is his only scary Pokemon left. He outspeeds and knocks me out, unfortunately. At this point though, I feel like this challenge is pretty impossible. I think it's time to train to level 100. After a really long grind in Araucania, I get to level 100. Let's go! First attempt, I get unluckily critted by a Caracosta crunch and die to Archeops. Second attempt, the Zoroark knocks me out with a Night Slash. 15th attempt, I get crunched by the Archeops. And by the way, if I'm struggling so much right now, there's no way I can beat Ghetsis with this Hydreigon that resists Thunderbolt. And I deem this challenge impossible, unfortunately. So I resort to my final strat. I let Nevada evolve into a Beheeyem, and I officially lose this challenge. The first attempt as a Beheeyem starts out with me being able to one-shot the Zekrom Psychic finally. I couldn't before. I Thunderbolt the Caracosta and it lives with Sturdy like always. But instead of Crunch doing a lot, my higher defense makes it do way less damage. He heals and I Thunderbolt again. I knock him out next turn. And the Archeops comes out. Because I finally outspeed, I knock it out with Thunderbolt, and then I knock out the Klinkling with Thunderbolt as well. Next is Zoroark, which I can outspeed again, so I knock him out with 1 Thunderbolt. Now it's the first appearance of his last Pokemon, Vanillux. I proceed to swiftly Thunderbolt and knock him out. So after 36 losing attempts as an ELGYEM, my first attempt as a Beheeyem wins. After watching Ghetsis literally disown N, I have to battle him. He leads with a Cofagrigus, and I shout out by Calm Mining because I feel like I will need it for Hydreigon. But he goes for Toxic and misses it. Next turn I knock him out with Psychic, and now next is a Bisharp. I'm faster and knock him out with 1 Thunderbolt. Electros is next. I hit a Psychic for a crit that really didn't matter, and I knock out the following Buffalon with Psychic. Out next is the only really big worry on the team, Hydreigon. I go for Miracle Eye so I can hit him next turn, and he uses Dragon Pulse which did literally nothing. Next turn I knock him out with Psychic, followed by the following Seismitoad. And with that being said, I have beaten the game, but at what cost? I proceed to watch the saddest scene in Pokemon history in my opinion, and boom, credits time. Thank you all so much for watching this amazing video. It is definitely the favorite I've ever recorded, and even though I wasn't able to complete the challenge, I still had a lot of fun throughout the whole video. The ups and downs from the chair in battles, the in battles, the very long grinding sessions, the Grimsley battles, the final in battles, and seeing my baby boy evolve into a big, strong, cute Beheeyem. And lastly, sweeping Ghetsis at the end. I wasn't able to beat Pokemon Black with only an ELGYEM, but I tried my hardest. Here is the big announcement that I was talking about earlier. I was talking about how good Gen 5 music is, so my next big video is going to be my top 20 favorite music pieces from Pokemon Black and White. It will also start a new series where I go through every single game giving my top 20 pieces from every Pokemon game, so get hyped for that. Please leave more Pokemon challenge ideas in the comments below, or if you want to DM to me, my Twitter is on the screen right now. But with that being said, all good things must come to an end, and I hope you're all having a good day, good night, or whenever y'all are watching this. And when it all is said and done, peace.